Let's add some interface elements. So for each of these, we have a new edit and an overview page. So we'll just do exactly the same thing again. I mean, we can find it later on. Obviously, we need to have a sort of cast new edit and a cast overview page. Let's do the cast new edit page first. So I'm going to do right mouse click, add a page, and let's call it, I'll use the same naming style, cast new edit, and it's going to be a form horizontal. So this is the same as we've had before, but let's watch what happens when we actually associate this with the cast entity. So again, I'm going to select this, going to the data source bit, and I can say, where's it going to come from? Well, we're going to be showing casts. Okay, and if we click OK, it says, do you want to fill the data view automatically? We say yes. And you can see what it's done is it actually determined that because of that relationship, that explicit relationship that we put in place between cast and actor and between cast and movie, it's deduced. Obviously, we're going to have an automatically generated cast ID, but it's given us a drop down and it's going to enable us to select an actor and a title. So an actor name and a movie title, which is really nice. Now, there's a little bit of a problem here. We could have two actors with the same name, but for the moment, we'll just go with that. You know, more reasonably, we would be able to do something like pick the primary key or the unique identifier for the actors. But in this case, just to demonstrate what's actually going on here, I'm just going to leave it as name and title. But the important bit is it is actually using the explicit relationship to sort of draw out the fields that are going to come through from those two relationships. Remember, we didn't actually place any of these fields actually inside cast, and that's one of the things that Mendix does for us automatically. So that's the cast new edit page. Similarly then, let's do a sort of overview page. So I'm just going to go add page and we'll call it cast overview. And we'll do it in the same style as the others. Either we could do it as a blank file or we can use one of the list pages. Let's just use a list, that'll be fine. Here it is. And I'm going to need to associate it with the particular entity. Oops, not quite right, here we go. Let's go to data source, this is where we want. And we're going to data source and we'll say it's going to be showing cast, like that. Click OK. Automatically fill the view. There it is. And again, you can see it's pulled out the cast ID and the name and the title using that pre-existing relationship. So we could just say something like cast lists or something. Something like that. Now, what we want to be able to do is we want to be able to sort of edit these and actually create a new one. So in exactly the same style that we did before, I'm going to add two buttons. So let's add a layout grid into here, which is going to be 9.3, and I'm just going to drag these into here. And what we want to do is to add a button here, and what it's going to do is it's going to enable us to edit this record, this element that's inside cast list, this row. And the way that we do that is we add a open page button. So I'll just pop that in there, and it's going to open up the cast new edit page. I'm just going to double tap on it, take out the text, let's pick, we'll use the same thing that we did before, which was a chevron, right, and I'm going to align it on the right, like that. So that button there will enable us to edit the particular piece of data that we're viewing at that time. Mendix will handle all that because of the context, which we've talked about before. And let's add a button at the top to create a new cast member association between an actor and a movie. So this is where we use a create button. I'm just going to pop it at the top. And we have to do two things. We have to say we're going to create a new empty cast object. But then of course the other thing we have to do is we then have to say we want to pass it into a page. So we're going to create an object, create an empty cast object, and then we're going to pass it into our cast new edit page, like that. And again, I'll just place that so it shows on the right hand side of the page. Save all that. Final step. So if we go back to the main page, obviously we have a third panel over here. And so this is where I could put my associations, my links in to cast. So I'm just going to put caption cast, and I'll put view, edit, cast in there. And this is the button here is going to link to our overview page. So on click, show a page, show the cast overview. And I've got an image on the Canvas page that you can download. So I'm just going to go into my images, add an image, and it's called cast list. There it is. So now I can go back to my home page and I can just change the image to be that cast list, wherever it is. There it is. Okay. So let's recreate the app, save all our changes and see what happens. Okay, my app is running. Let's view it. So I've got actors, I've got movies, and what I can now do is I can go into my cast list. Obviously I haven't got any associations between actors and movies at the moment. I can click on new and I can go Alan Rickman was in Die Hard, like that. I could go Bruce Willis was in Die Hard. I can say that Alan Rickman was in Harry Potter. I can say that John David Washington was in Tenet. And I could say that Warwick Davis was in Star Wars. And Warwick Davis was in Harry Potter. So we've got that many-to-many relationship going on. Obviously my layout's not quite good here, so I could tidy that up, but we get the basic idea. We've now got a way to actually represent actors, a way to represent movies, and a way to represent the fact that there's a connection that we have between actors and movies.